This is Vargas recording live from a part of the Vargas Vault, usually the main part where I record, and still not ready to face Macabro, even though he's on to me. He did a movie pickup video, and I don't know how he saw a video of me on the back, but now he knows that I'm here. He just hasn't been able to find me because I'm cloaking myself with the power rings. But before any of that, I wanted to share with you guys a collection pickup video. This isn't going to be the movie pickup video. I'm going to do that right after recording this. This is all the soundtracks that I've bought that I haven't had a chance to talk about, and believe it or not, some video games I was actually able to add, and one super epic video game edition. Thanks to my wonderful family. So first off, I'm going to talk about the games. I don't know if I've talked about this one. If I have, I apologize. This was in a pile of stuff that I separated with the specific purpose of talking about it later. The way that I work is that I, now it's a month. I pile stuff up in a month, and when I have time to actually sit down and record, I just take it out. And once I'm done recording, I put everything in my bookshelves or in the part of the collection. And this one was with the pile, so it shouldn't be. I don't remember if I've talked about it, but I picked up a Black Label Gran Turismo. Not a big fan of these hyper-realistic racing sims. I like my racing games to be arcade, like Cruisin' World, Cruisin' USA. I like the Burnout series. That's a lot of fun. But this one, I respect the effort that went into making, like super realistic racing cars. And I kick myself because I've always seen the Player's Choice Greatest Hits edition of this, and it has a green label there. And I'm always like, I gotta pick it up. But it's either too expensive, or it doesn't come with the disc. It's just the case, or the disc is really scratched up. So I was able to find this really nice. It has a crack here, but that's fine. The disc is fine, and it's a black labeled version of Gran Turismo, the first one. My PlayStation 3 plays PS1 games just fine. Doesn't want to play PS2 games, which is a bummer. But I can play PS1 games, and it has a virtual memory card option, so I don't have to track down, PS1 memory cards, which is great. Another one I'm not sure if I already talked about it. Again, it was in the pile. Is Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. I already own Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but this one is a collector's edition that has Snake Eater with a couple of extra options. But the main draw is that it has Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake on a separate disc. It's on this one here. So I played Metal Gear on, like most people here in America, on the NES. But those were just adaptations of the games that came out in Japan. If you bought the PlayStation 3 Metal Gear collection, I believe that comes with a code that you can download it. But this one is the version that has the physical games on a disc. So I'm all about physical media. I don't think I'll ever give up physical media. So having that option is cool. But again, I don't know if I've talked about that one. I know I haven't talked about this one because it's a recent find. I picked up for the PS2 Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. I really like the Indiana Jones series. And there's a couple of games that I'm hunting for. I'm hunting for the Indiana Jones trilogy on the Super Nintendo, which I've never come across. And the one time I did at Spring Valley, the guy wanted $30, and I just don't have $30 for a Super Nintendo game. There's Indiana Jones game on the N64 and another one on the Wii that I'm hunting for. But this one is a nice ad for the PS2 collection. My brother is selling off some of his games. He's trying to get rid of his game collection because he lost his job and he needed the money, but now he has a job, so I guess he kind of regrets selling me these games, but I bought it off of him to help him out. And I picked up from him Aliens vs. Predator. I love both Aliens. I actually have some really cool statues of them and most of their movies. Just need a couple of the Aliens games. I've heard that one's not so good, but for the collection. It's great. Picked up Splinter Cell Blacklist. I know I haven't talked about this one for the PlayStation 3. This one goes back to its stealth roots. The only bummer about this game is that it no longer has Michael Ironside doing the voice of Sam Fisher, and that's a damn shame because I freaking love Michael Ironside, and he has this really nice gravelly voice that fits perfect with Sam Fisher. But for some stupid reason, they got rid of him, and now it's this other guy that just doesn't, it doesn't sound like Michael Ironside. Bought from him Prototype 2. I have the first prototype, and I wanted this one to complete the story. And also from him, I've been hunting for this particular game for a long, long time. Really awesome that I was able to buy it for the PlayStation 3. I own the original versions on the PS2. But for my brother, I picked up Eco and Shadow of the Colossus in HD. I love both of these games. They are beautiful games, really artistic games. Really, really sight to behold. And I want to play them on HD. Because those games are one of the few exceptions that would merit playing the game in HD. Because on the PlayStation 2, they're beautiful games to look at, but because of the limitations of the console, it looks kind of fuzzy and kind of like with fog. But on HD, supposedly they clean all that up, and I want to enjoy those on HD. For the Wii, I don't know if I talked about this one, but I picked up NBA 2K10. I love NBA. When I was younger, I used to play basketball. Not professionally, of course, just with my friends and around the block and at school. I watched NBA mostly because of the rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. But when I really got into it is when Michael Jordan hit the scene, and everyone wanted to be like Mike, and him and the Chicago Bulls was the golden age of NBA, in my opinion. It's with Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, it's been good, but my team is the Chicago Bulls, and I like basketball games. I like the sport, and I liked the games, so that's why I picked that one up. And the most recent one, I picked this up at a place that was selling DVDs, and they sold me this one for the price of a DVD, which is 10 pesos. And it's Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templar, the director's cut. It's an adventure game, kind of like Maniac Mansion and stuff like that. But it's a Wii game, so I'm not going to say no to a Wii game. Really going to breeze through the CDs I picked up. I picked up the soundtrack for The Bodyguard. I like The Bodyguard. Oddly enough, I don't own the movie, which is weird that I don't have the Bodyguard movie. You would think I would, but I don't. But now I have the CD. Picked up Taylor Swift Speak Now. I already bought this, but I bought the case and Taylor Swift. But I didn't realize that I don't know why I usually do this. I don't know why that one time I didn't do it, but the CD inside the case is not Taylor Swift, it's something else. So I had to rebuy it, and this one is the Speak Now, so now my Taylor Swift collection is complete. Picked up Essential Blondie, Picture This Live. I like Blondie, it's a good band, so pick that one up. For my wife, I picked up With Love, Michael Bublé. My wife really, really likes Michael Bublé, so I picked that one up for her. Still missing a couple of CDs from him. What the hell happened here? Okay, I'm going to skip this one. Picked up Double Gold, the Ennio Morricone Complete Dollars Trilogy. This is the soundtrack with music. It's not all the music, but it has music for Fistful of Dollars, for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I love the song that's used, Ecstasy of Gold in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Metallica likes that song a lot too. They play it on their concerts, so that's why I wanted that one. Picked up Global Stage Orchestra plays music based on the Star Wars trilogy. I love the Star Wars movies, and I love the music of Star Wars. I have a couple of these compilation of orchestral groups doing the music for Star Wars. Some of them have been hit or miss. If it's not directed by John Williams, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be as good. But I want to see that one. It has 3 CDs, so it's gotta be good. Finally added some Michael Jackson to my collection. I've been hunting for Thriller on CD for a good while, and a lot of people will say, "Why, Vargas? Why don't you just buy it online or go to a store and buy it new?" I could do that. There's a music store here in Mexico that still sells CDs. I know Blockbuster stopped selling physical CDs at their stores, which is a bummer. I think Target also just gave up on CD media. Last time we went, I didn't see any CDs. Um, but I like physical media. And yeah, I'm missing Thriller. I got Bad, which is good. Bad is a really good CD by Michael Jackson, but I want to get Thriller. This one I honestly I don't recognize the band. It's called the Melvins. 26 songs. Honestly, I picked it up because of the Godzilla cover, because I love Godzilla. But I've been hearing this music, and it actually has a nice beat. Picked up the collector set of the soundtrack for Saving Mr. Banks, the Disney movie, based on the behind the scenes of Mary Poppins. Picked up Alone in Israel's, a CD of Israel. I'm gonna butcher his name, Kamakawi Wooly. It's a guy that sings Over to the Rainbow at the end of 51st Dates. But that's my daughter's like lullaby song, so I picked it up so I can play it. I sing it to her, but picked it up so we can play it to her. Also picked up, I put it in a special case because it has one of these flimsy, like, cardboard things, and the discs get really scratched when they're inside like this. But this is You Say Party, We Say Die, Paper 045. I don't know, it's a little band that's, I picked up the CD from Movie Freak Bazaar, and I like the tune, so I picked that one up. I usually like blind buying CDs of bands I don't know about when I like the beats. Also picked up Adam Sandler, What's Your Name? Because it's Adam Sandler singing. He doesn't sing that bad, actually. Picked up Elvis Presley commemorative issue, the #1 hits. I like Elvis Presley's songs. Some of them are really, really good. The only one is a real bummer is that this one doesn't have Leaving Las Vegas, and I love Leaving Las Vegas, which is a bummer. Picked up The Best of Blondie. I picked up the Essential Blondie, but this is the Best of Blondie. Picked up, I only have Volume 1, but I needed Volume 2 of Prince, the Greatest Hits, because Prince and Michael Jackson were, I think Boy George also were the three more bizarre artists in the 80s, but their music is really cool. A lot of people hate, well, not anymore, because everyone's kind of forgotten about that, but for a time, a lot of people hated on Michael Jackson for stuff that came out in the media and stuff. But no one said that his music sucked. He was a really good artist. And the other person is Prince. I really, really like. He was kind of flamboyant in a different way than Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was flamboyant, but in a different kind of weird way. But Prince was flamboyant in a totally different style. But his music is really cool. I still need to get the Purple Rain movie. I have the soundtrack, but I don't have the movie, and that bugs me. But I have his greatest hits, now the Volume 1 and Volume 2. I think there's another disc in that greatest hits thing that's called the B-sides, which has like, not his greatest hits, but songs that he played independently. Picked up the soundtrack for Bad Boys 2. I'm pretty sure I have the soundtrack for Bad Boys 1. But I like collecting movie soundtracks. I like obviously collecting soundtracks for movies that I like collecting soundtracks for artists or bands that I like, but I also like collecting soundtracks for movies because I'm a movie buff and I really like some soundtracks. So that was a good soundtrack. Picked up for my wife the soundtrack of Bridget Jones's Diary because she really likes Bridget Jones's Diary. I still need to get for her Bridget Jones's Baby. but I haven't come across that one actually. I bought her the book. I bought her a Bridget Jones book, but I haven't gotten around to finding a copy of Bridget Jones's Baby. And while I've been showing off, I've been trying to get this sticker thing because I haven't opened it. But I picked up the soundtrack for Legend by the Tangerine Dream, and I really like the score in Legend. I like the movie Legend itself. Tim Curry is great as the devil. The makeup, his voice, freaking amazing. So I picked up the soundtrack for Legend. And the last thing I'm going to show is a birthday gift that my family got me. I've been hunting and I've been wanting, and I haven't been able to afford this, or the one that came prior to this. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo. I've always loved Nintendo, and I like, for the most part, I collect Nintendo, and I have most of the consoles. The only console, the Nintendo console I don't own right now, is the Switch, because it's really expensive. Well, it's $300, but I don't have $300 to blow on a console, plus the accessories, plus the video games, and now the monthly service that Nintendo decided to use if you want to play their stuff online. But they came out with the NES Classic Mini, and it's a little NES emulator that has 30 games, and you can play it in HD, and it's really cool. But for a while, it was really super hard to. Not only did I not have the money, but it was really super hard to find because of the goddamn scalpers that would buy all the consoles and then resell them for 3-4 times the original price. The thing is $60, and then online they were selling it for like $200, and that made me mad, and every other Nintendo collector. Then they announced the Super Nintendo Classic, and that's one I also wanted. That one only has 21 games, but it has a lot of RPGs, and that extends the playtime that you can have. That's $80. It's a little bit more expensive, $20 more expensive than the Nintendo one, but it has a lot more bang for your buck. So, I didn't want my wife to buy this for me because it's $80, but bless her heart, my daughter, my son, and her gave me for my birthday present the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, and this thing has a bunch of defining games for the Super Nintendo. Has Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound. Well, Earthbound alone it's like $100 game if you want to buy it, and that's if you're lucky, because I have seen it go for a lot more than $100. So that alone is worth it. But it also has Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo, which is Final Fantasy 6. It has Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby Superstar, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting, which I would have preferred the new challengers because they introduced 4 new characters. But this is a really good version of Street Fighter. Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghosts and Gold, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Stars. I love that game. Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario World 2, and an previously unreleased game called Star Fox 2. Star Fox on the Super Nintendo was awesome. They started working on Star Fox 2. They finished the game. They actually finished the game, but didn't release it because the N64 came out. So they scrapped releasing Star Fox 2 and started working on Star Fox 64. So that game never actually came out until now, and that's another reason to get this. The Super Nintendo, the Nintendo Mini is great because it's 30 games and it's $60. But the thing about the Nintendo console is that as much as I love it, it had a lot of glitches. Because it was brand new technology, but Nintendo really defined their craft with the Super Nintendo. So that's the one I wanted. I still wish I want, and if I can, I want to get the Nintendo Classic. But that's the best one that you can get because the graphics are polished, the control is polished, and it has 21 amazing games. So definitely, I can recommend that. And I already plugged it into my TV, and we were playing it with my daughter and I were playing it. It's this size. It's like super small, and it looks like a Super Nintendo. I love this freaking thing, and I was playing it with my daughter, and a wave of nostalgia just came in. So it's $80. Not a lot of people might have it. It's not that hard to find anymore. We went to a GameStop and they had it. I think that might actually have been their last one because they bought it out of the warehouse. They still had some more NES classics, but I want to get that before Christmas because I know that come Christmas time that's going to sell out really fast. Rumors are there's going to be a N64 classic. I don't know how many games. I don't know. I don't want to think how expensive that's going to be. And I'm hoping it's 20 games. It won't be 30 games like the NES Classic. I'm thinking it's going to be 20 games, and I don't know what 20 games they can actually stuff in that, but maybe it's going to be 15. I don't know. But right now I want to get the NES Classics. I love the Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo. I would love to own both of those because the selection of the NES Classic is not as good as this. It still has some really good games like the 3 Castlevanias. That alone is worth the price of admission. But yeah, that was this update. Some video games, some CDs, and a really epic birthday present. And I am super grateful to my family for, splurging $80, which we really don't have. We don't really have $80 to spend right now, but they did, and I'm grateful to my wonderful family. So until I see you guys again, this is Vargas recording from the Vargas Vault. I'll see you in a little bit because I have a DVD update to share with you guys. So I'll see you soon. Bye.